Hi guys, hail and Mary to everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. It's hot as hell out here, so we're not gonna take forever to talk about what we were going to talk about. I'm using my microphone with Direct Free so that I can actually not have to worry about. We have a couple things to talk about at the same time, so let's get one of them ready here. Three things actually. First is my new secondhand iPhone 4S. Okay, I'm sorry, the 8. This is the 8, not the 4S. Although the 4S and the has a matching juice box case, so we're going to be talking about that real quick too. But this is a pretty nice iOS phone. But like so many phones from iOS, they have the lightning connector in the bottom, which doesn't fit much of my plugs. So, but that's where the second item we're going to talk about real quick comes in. This is the Mophie juice pack. Okay? And what this does, it also can charge the phone too. I don't know if we can charge one. So I'm just curious. It says it can charge phone. We can't charge one without being in the case. Probably not. No. Okay. So anyway, this thing can charge wirelessly. Okay. And it has a battery inside this. And so basically, just like on the 4S one, it does the same thing. It has the Apple connector on inside. You can barely see it. There's a connector there. Lightning connector. And then it has a micro USB connector on the outside. So, which means the good news is it fits on my cases and all that stuff. The only thing I have to be honest, I don't like about it is it's smart enough to know when you get the phone turned off. You can see right now it's charging. The phone was pretty much near full charge anyway. But we'll let the Mophie juice pack charge up for a little bit. Okay. Now, comparing it with this Android phone, I want to talk about the difference between iOS and Android ecosystems because I've had an Android phone I had an iOS phone since around 2010, I think, and maybe a little longer than that. Okay, I had no problem with it. I've had the iPhone 3GS. I've had the iPhone 4S. Now I have the iPhone 8. Now, first thing is that is nice with Apple products is that the interface hasn't changed extensively. Every iPhone you have all uses the same basic interface, which means it's very easy to figure out how to use the phone, and it's not too hard to do anything with it. Okay? The little one that says it's rose gold, and you can actually see that the rose gold from the Apple and the iPhone case look the same, so those are kind of good advantage. But the iAndroid, depending on the Android phone you get, the interface can be very different between manufacturers. The settings menu everything may not be in the same places. It gets really confusing. Until recently, most Android phones had an SD card slot, which was nice because you could put in extra storage into the phones, and so that we could plug in as much as you need. So if you need another 32 gigabytes of RAM, you just buy an SD card, slip it in the back, and boom, but your buddy's there. This Android phone has another feature which is long gone away. The battery. Now, the loss of the battery means that, just like Apple phones, which have never had a removable battery since the days of the Apple iPod, means when the batteries go dead, you're SOL. Okay? You can't directly replace it. Don't try with the newer iOS phones, like the 8s and 7s on your own, or even the 5s, because the Touch ID sensor wiring is very delicate and will break. It was done that way on Apple on purpose to make sure someone's not hacking the phones. They're so worried about security that they tend to go crazy. Here's the SSD slot, SD card reader. I can't really see it; it's so small. That's the SD card. I use to store extra things on my phone. And it slips right here. The SIM card goes behind here. So theoretically, it's pretty easy to use. With the use of the removable battery, and since my 2 LG Aristos, including the one I had before this one, that where the internal memory got so corrupted and damaged, it just couldn't do anything anymore with it. Just ended up basically just sitting in a drawer. The batteries and the cases are the same, so it was very easy to just go ahead and put the case phone into this case, and boom, you're all set. Okay, so makes it very easy to fix it because you just do just like that. It slips right in. Try not to line up the holes. There you go. That's all set to go. No. So Android devices tend to have their own ideas of how things are supposed to be set up, and they tend to have inconsistency among manufacturers, whereas iOS devices, being Apple, maintains their ecosystem completely. They have kept the interfaces pretty much stock since. Also, I chose the 8 because it doesn't have the damned notch. Anybody who knows what a notch is right around here where the camera and the light sensor is they would have a notch. It was pretty big one on the end of 10. It was like, big, huge notch. Had a whole bunch of sensors and everything. But the 10 has a few features this one doesn't have, but their features I'll probably never use. Okay? Usage of this phone, comparing this to Android, this phone is a little more locked down. But as I said, the interface is more understandable conceptually. It doesn't have as many ability to expand it as much. Oh yes, by the way, compared to, I think it was iOS 7 that started with this. This is not a physical button. This home button. It's a touch sensor. It's also a fingerprint reader. If you choose to use it for that purpose, I don't have, because first of all, one reason is that I'm not that worried about security. Yeah, trust me, if you got the phone in my hands, then you got a problem. Out of my hands, you're gonna have a problem. The other thing is, if a third party changed the battery on the phone and they accidentally damaged the wires, then your touch sensor is worthless anyway. Apple has locked it down really well. Where the point is that you can't even change the screen. You got to keep everything the same. You got to keep the touch sensor, the serial numbers, everything serialized. So which means is that there's really no aftermarket sources for iPhone leftovers from broken phones, because they are pretty much not accessible. You may have a perfect screen, but if the screen is married to another phone by serial number, you can't use it. All right. So for Apple to lock you in, they basically say that you have to buy their screens at the Apple Store or Apple authorized reseller or service shop, and then they will fix your screen, and then they will go into the software and make sure that the screen serial number matches what the phone is expecting. Everything has a serial number. Yes, even the battery does. So, trust me. Try to buy an aftermarket battery for an iPhone 10, 11, 12, 13, or whatever up to the deal these days. If the serial numbers don't match in the batteries, or the screen doesn't match, if you broke the screen and you want to replace the screen and it doesn't match, your phone is as good as a brick. It won't work for you. I think that's really the one thing that I think that Apple kind of really screwed the pooch on. One thing Apple has on the feature here is the silent switch. Now this is a feature I actually like. When you do this is you can turn silent mode on. There's a little switch on the side here. Oops. A little switch on the side here. When it's down like that, it's saying, and pardon my French, shut up. I don't want to hear you right now. Switches up. The silent moding is going to make noise, okay? So it's really nice for that. It's a feature I don't see on Android phones anywhere. At least I haven't seen one. When they have the little manual override that says shut up. I call this the shut up switch. Okay? What this phone got going for it is this supports something called on the go or OTG, which means that you can plug in an OTG cable and you can plug in an external hard drive or thumb drive or even a modem, as long as the phone itself has the support for hardware, then you can use that to access your internet. This is using the standard USB micro B connector. Now, I don't have any phones with the micro C or the USB-C connector. It has one. So, it was lamenting. He says, finding this charge for this phone is like it's just as proprietary as Apple. No, it's not, actually, Ed. USB-C is replacing the micro B connector, okay, because it's becoming the standard on a lot of things. Even the Apple MacBooks are using the USB-C charging connectors. However, the new MacBook that's coming out is going back to the MagSafe charging connector, which just uses the MagSafe. MagSafe was used up until about 2016 Mac when they got away from the MagSafe connector to go with USB-C. POL, I guess Tim Cook kind of thought that was a bad idea. He wants the new Mac with the ARM chip to have the MagSafe for charging, and maybe you can charge USB-C as well. I think that's a great idea. There's nothing wrong with the MagSafe connector. In fact, it's already saved my bacon a few times because it is just held in place by cymbal magnets. So that when you, it's easy to, if it gets tugged, it comes off and it doesn't get damaged. So that protects your computer from being pulled off the table or worse, damaging the charging port. So yeah, that's a big deal. All right. When I mentioned ease of use, even without the SIM chip, I can still show you the LG phone here. This is a T-Mobile phone. The original LG Aristo was a Metro PCS one. They were both unlocked, so I could use either phone for either job. So they worked fine for that purpose. And you can't always tell if they're unlocked or not by looking at the phone, but you can tell if you put in a foreign SIM chip, if it says SIM chip rejected or it says you got to enter an unlock code. This is unlocked. I can use any SIM chip I want in it. Okay. In fact, I could even check that status, but I don't right now. I'm not using a SIM chip in it right now. So, but yes, it works fine. Right now, it's pretty hot out here. It's 28 degrees Celsius. Unfortunately, you got all your notifications popping up because it's been off for a while. So I'm gonna have to wait for those guys to get scrolling up the screen. There's just a lot of them. I want to go into settings and turn that off because notifications, because this is going to be too many to look at. Right, it's not really that bad. So just hit clear all. Oh, that's the other thing that's different. To pull down here, you get the settings menu. On the iOS phone, you have to flip it up. So, like that. So if this is to flip it up, pull down the notes. I think you gotta be on home screen first. You gotta pull it down like that. Okay, so pull down to get to your notifications, and flip up to get to your control panel. Okay. You can change the screen volume, camera, calculate. There's a flashlight function on all these phones, hearing aid assistance, screen mirroring. I don't have a cable for that right now. I don't know if screen mirroring will work. Probably not, because I don't have anything plugged into mirror it to. So, which do I prefer better and why? Well, first of all, I've only had this phone for about a day, so I really can't give you a full review of this. Just to say is, compared to the 4S, it was easy enough to get back into the Android or iOS ecosystem because it wasn't like a major learning curve. Setup was the same. Just went into iTunes, restored the original backups of my old iOS apps. Go ahead, did a firmware update. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Throws it to go. The Android phones, being in the phone, they're all different. Some phones are easy. Even the LG Aristo versus LG Aristo 2 setup was different. It wasn't exactly the same at all. It was a lot of features that were added that I had to improve, and a lot of extra things. So yes, Android is more. Manufacturers are putting things where they want to put them. Setting menus can get kind of confusing. I do like on the Android phones that have SD card slots that you can plug in, put an SD card in the back, and add additional storage. That's a plus. And most newer Android phones now have, as far as RAM, that's usually DDR2, DDR3 RAM. This is not the storage RAM. They call that ROM. I don't know why. It's really an SD card inside the phone. It's built into the motherboard. SSD. Okay. It's standard DDR2, DDR3, DDR4 RAM. Usually anywhere from, on the better phones, 2 to 4 gigabytes of storage, which is going to be what you want for big projects, okay, big programs. If you are a person that loves to have tons of phone features, the only thing is with the SSD inside is they can only take so many rewrite cycles before they turn into a big giant brick. Normally the phone manages this, but once the memory gets so corrupted and so hammered, then it's not enough RAM or ROM left, and then the phone is going to basically be just a giant basket case. That was the case with the original Aristo. But then I've had the phone since 2018, so it's a 2016 model. Dory had it before that. Dory basically used to play a lot of games, had a lot of games and apps in there, and it just tended to clog up her phone with junk without doing any kind of maintenance. That's why for the iOS phone, I bought one with 64 gigabytes of storage. I knew I wasn't going to use more than 32, but I figured, well, 64 gigabytes of storage is good because then I'll have extra room for storing things. Now, one thing also, syncing phones with the Mac. This is an Apple product. This is an Apple MacBook. To sync this with the Mac is simple. Either A, I can sync it through Bluetooth, B, or Wi-Fi, or C, using the appropriate cable, regular, in this case with the juice pack on, the standard micro USB to USB cable, fire up iTunes and iPhoto or photos, and import pictures back and forth between the two. Easy peasy, not hard to do. Android phones, you need to install an app called Android File Transfer. It's a lot more extra work. It doesn't integrate your pictures into your iPhoto library, and then you're going to basically have to manually import them later as another step. It doesn't automatically import your contacts. It doesn't automatically import your memos. It doesn't automatically import your music. Again, the file transfer app doesn't integrate like that. Compare that to the old BlackBerry 9900 with the BlackBerry Suite, which I could take photos and it would be imported right into iPhoto, or I could take music and it would transport it back and forth into iTunes, which made things a lot easier. Unfortunately, BlackBerry is long gone, and I miss it. It's the 9900 Bold. I really wish they still had it. It was working. Maybe he had the same problem with his internal memory gone bad. Maybe it was because, well, then the phone was so old anyway, and no one's really using 3G anymore, so couldn't use it anymore, really. It's just a shame. Good phone, but just the key one. Oh, I still want to get one of them. I will, eventually. So, what about this? This originally I bought this for the iPhone. This is the iMac Pre. Well, this uses your standard iPhone connector plug of the 4-pin. So, if you have an iPhone 4S, it plugs right into the headphone socket. It works fine. With the phones with the lightning connector, you need the little thingus, dongus adapter pluggus that goes in it on the bottom. And unfortunately, with the multi-juice pack on it, you can't use it anyway because the adapter isn't going to work for you. Okay, so also nice feature this phone has is I can pick it up and it will, works fine. So, something to keep in mind if you're looking for a way to charge your phone. This phone has wireless charging. I don't really know how it does it. I never tried to see if I put it on top of something like an electromagnet, sort of like a transformer core, if it'll charge it or not. I don't know how that works. I mean, I know how induction charging should work, but they may have came up with some tricks that this iPhone wouldn't respond to. I mean, it needs to be at a certain frequency. Who knows? So should you get an iPhone or should you go to Android phones? Well, honestly, guys, it's 2021. You're going to see a lot of both out there. There's a lot of when people say go for one or the other. I'm going to tell you straight out, I use both. I like the iOS phone because it's easier to navigate. I hate the iOS phone because it's limited in some of its features that are rarely used, but they're nice to have, and this doesn't have it. Okay, for example, easy way of actually sending a picture strictly from the iPhotos to Discord is a little more tricky. It can be done, but it's a little bit extra step. I can't directly just think. Maybe I can. I just have to work with a board to find how to do this. It's tied to the Apple ecosystem, so if you are using this with your Apple products, you're fine. If you're using this with Windows, I don't have Windows, so I don't know how hard it is to use this phone with Windows. By nature, for a long time, Android was more suitable for Windows users because of the setup. So it's really your choice. The speakers. I'm also talking about this. Some of the newer Android phones don't do this, but this back phone here has a speaker in the back. And so what that means is the sound is going away from you. So when I'm using this phone watching videos, you'll see my hand will be cupped around the phone like this, so I can hear or funnel the sound to the front of me. Of course, there's a lot of reasons why they did that. One of them was to make best use of space. A lot of them. After all, they didn't want to make the phone any bigger than it is. It's already pretty big. It's a 5.5-inch screen, so it's not small. It's actually a little bit bigger than the Mac iPhone screen, which is, you can see the difference here. I'll turn them both on. You can see that there's a bit of a difference in the size of the screen. They're not that much different. The Android phone is a little bit bigger, but that's about it. Cameras. This camera has stabilization in it, so it's less sensitive to shakiness. My 4S had the same thing. If this is anything like the Aristo 2, or original Aristo, I can test that real quick. If I actually put the camera on, and I can see, this definitely has stabilization now. Oh yeah, this has definitely got it now. The Aristo 2 didn't have stabilization, so it would be shaky, like shakier than a fiddler on a roof. Really. So that's a major plus for me. Well, I mean, there you go. Oh yeah. Like I said, besides the fact that the battery is internal on most every modern day phone, iOS and Android alike, many don't even have an SD card slot. Many don't even don't have a headphone jack. Even more have the goddamn notch. Why do you need a notch in the first place? I don't know, but they all have it today. One company has decided to do something instead of actually adding a real notch for the camera. They actually have a couple pixels behind the glass that, when the camera's in use, those pixels go white, and then you can take pictures through the glass and still have a good shot. Speakers, sound-wise, this phone is good. This phone is fine. This certainly was better than the Aristo original. The sound is better. I haven't tried talking on Discord to see if I still sound like I'm screaming at you, but that was the biggest problem. The original Aristo was the volume was set so damn high that you felt everybody thought you were screaming at them. So I have to find out. I'm going to test that feature. Theoretically, this phone works with this, but I have used it with the old Aristo in this with mixed results. But it does work. The Moshi handsets. I'm not going to talk about those. Because I had a Moshi handset. With this phone, because it doesn't have a headphone jack, the Moshi headset isn't going to do a damn thing for you. Okay? Sorry. If you want a retro style handset, you got to get a Bluetooth version, or you're going to have to forgo the juice box, and you're going to have to get a case that just has a standard lightning connector in the bottom, and then use a little Singus Dongus adapter to plug in the Moshi headset into this. So, if you want something easy, light, easy to use, and doesn't need all this, have a lot of extra fluff added to it, and still be a good solid performer, this is this phone for you. I don't know if this has noise canceling for live streaming or whatever, but right now I'm outside. We have the air conditioner running, and I'm hot, and I know the computer is going to want to take a powder. It's got to charge, and just like the phone, this does have a battery in it. It's right now it's a 70%, so I'm gonna have to charge it. Unlike the phone, at least Apple in the 2010 MacBook did not make getting the battery a major medical surgical procedure. Although it is a lot of procedures, you still got to take out a lot of little tiny screws, and you still got to take the back off, and then you got to take out a little tiny torque screw that holds the battery in place, and then lift the old battery out and put a new one in. It's really not too hard to do until I saw how small the screws were. And they're using, let's see, I can see right now what they're using here. Gotta be careful when that goes. This is using standard Phillips screws underneath. Oh, okay, that's a plus. So they're not using pentaprobes. Yeah, they're using standard Phillips. But still, it's a lot of work and to take the battery out. But really, it's not that bad. Just got to take out the screws and take the cover off. And I also has, you know, so Apple in their designs wants to make it so you have to bring it to the shop to fix it. Which, real quick, will bring up about right to repair. I support right to repair because I also support the right to break. Okay? You break your phone, that's your problem. Okay, don't blame the company, but you break your own phone trying to do something that you don't know what you're doing. Honey, I bricked enough gear, I know what I'm talking about. Okay? I don't hold it against the company for that. You know, shit, I broke my computer. Oh, I was just trying to change the battery and accidentally ripped the wire off. Oh, no, I can't get the wire back. That's happened, trust me. But the point is, right to repair, you bought the product. It's yours. It's not a lease. You know, it's different if you were leasing the computer from the company. And then the company says, I'm sorry, but as part of the lease terms, you can't go inside and mess with it. Or the lease is terminated, and then therefore you'll have to pay for the repairs out of your own pocket. If it breaks because of normal wear and tear, and it has not been opened by you, then that's fine. Bully. Nobody was going to give you a problem about it, and set to go, right? Yeah. Now, by the way, why is this year service? I don't know. Who knows? Oh, my New Year's are coming in a couple days. Anyway, so that's basically what it's at. I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on. As I said, I'm enjoying using the Android phone or the iOS phone right now. I do have the option of flipping my SIM chip between the two phones. So if I get tired of the iOS, I can put my SIM chip back into the Android phone and use that as well. But for now, that's it. I just wanted to let you see what's going on in the technology and everything else. So for now, I'm going to get rid of, oh yes, the touchpad on the Mac. Oh, what mouse is this? This uses a touchpad. It's kind of a challenge for me. That's because it's nice. But once it's a small screen, but alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Are we going to have a live stream on Saturday? Yes, we're having a morning one. Are we having a night one? Possibly. Providing no more police show up at my door. You know what I'm talking about. Alright guys, but for now, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.